So hi everybody, I am Jonathan Winkle. Thanks for having me today. I think and I hope Matt invited me here because I love this community, particularly in Stamford. I love Connecticut. I see a really bright future here in tech and digital media, and we've done a lot with UConn. And so, I'm pretty excited about it, maybe over-caffeinated, but we'll find out here. So I'm gonna keep this condensed and I'll be moving through this pretty quickly. So I was born and raised in Connecticut, right here where you see this pin drop. Don't worry, I won't get into that for this presentation. And I've lived all over the state. So I had a career that started in sales and grew into business development and then grew into marketing. And ultimately, I run my own agency here in the city. And as I pursued my own personal growth and professional growth, I found myself moving more and more down here, but staying within the state of Connecticut the whole time. So as someone who was focused in digital media, I found my home here in Stamford eventually. And when I came here to Stamford, I ultimately ended up working at Kodak. I worked in a division called Design to Launch there. And it's kind of a funny community story that I like to share. I think is really particularly relevant for this audience. Design to Launch was founded in Stamford, Connecticut by a woman named Allison Malloy, her brother Ron Malloy, and ultimately was built completely on Connecticut talent. So they hired all around here. They were locally funded by these organizations you see listed over here. They had early customers like Playtex based in Connecticut. They did a lot of their early business here. They grew to 30 people. They got acquired by Kodak. Their headquarters stayed here. They insisted on that when they sold that company. And ultimately, I ended up working there. I'm like the least important person in that flow, but the story goes from that bullet point next. So I got a lot of experience there working in the software side and in digital media, and I, with my partner, decided to start this company. So I was global head of business development. He was global head of sales. We were both working at Kodak in Stamford, and we had helped to modernize that business. We brought in we were doing cold calling at the time that I started working there still, which it doesn't work and it's crazy when you work in the software business. So we brought the whole thing online. We were doing things like inbound marketing, content marketing, and my partner and I said, hey, if we could do this for ourselves as a business, we think we could really do well with this. And so we started it in Stamford. What we do is we help companies and people focus on growth, and this is kind of our ethos that we operate under as a company, and then I'm going to get into a couple of community initiatives. So my view in the world in digital media is that people have always searched, they've always depended on relationships, but obviously the way that people, the way they shop, the way they buy, the way they make decisions is heavily influenced by digital media, sometimes entirely on digital media. So this is now your search. And these are the opinions that you're looking at. And what I believe, and what is the kind of driving force of my business, is that people, I used to say demand, I think it's now a requirement. People require these things in digital media in order to go about their lives, shopping, where they eat, where they want to work, and they go through this process. I'm going to skip a couple slides forward here. So here we go. So we put together some of these programs for our clients that are based on looking at different key metrics for what they do as a business, and then deciding how we want to turn those switches on and off to make a bespoke program for them that's going to work to take them to market. So, and the way that we do that is a methodology called objective marketing that we've developed proprietarily inside of our business, where we partner with people on the strategic level. That's working starting with goals, and then we go on down the funnel, which is a nice digital marketing integration, and all the way down to their identity, working in branding, working in their content, and how they speak to people and how they appear and how they sound when they do so. We are focused on a lot of tactical stuff at our agency. And so we do a lot of these we call them growth hacks. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of that terminology before, where we're following competitors' fans. We're targeting platform power users and seeing if we can make evangelists out of them for companies, and doing a whole bunch of other tactical stuff like this. And so that's Square Wheel. We help our clients grow and pursue new business. This is our campaign of the month here, which is Charge. And so I started this company, and I was looking at kind of how we reach out to the community, how can we elevate this conversation. And one of the things that I saw was the Fairfield County Digital Marketing Meetup. Mark, who is my partner in this, and I didn't know would be here today, so look at that. The community's coming together, I guess is the point. So, Mark had started this a long time ago. I had contacted him about picking it back up, and we had a whole bunch of event series here, and I would hear it just again and again and again from people was, wow, I just met this front-end developer, and I didn't know there's so many here. Or I just met a guy who's focused on, leading CPG companies to market using, websites and social media campaigns. And it kept getting more niche, and people had it here, and it was really cool because we were having this meetup and people were discovering each other there. But it was also kind of frustrating because you say, okay, well, why is this not happening organically here in Stamford? And I think you could say the same about Connecticut. And so at the state level, we have this initiative that brings us here to the room today. And at the local level, I finally got frustrated enough, so we have to do something about this. And then we founded Stamford Innovation Week. So the genesis of this was 2015 and 16. We had Stamford Tech Week. It was very successful. Started as a Java conference, then it grew to a Java and a happy hour, then it grew to a happy hour and HTML conference, and it grew and it grew and it grew. And because it was so organic, there's a little exposure you have with that. And a couple people moved away, and a couple people got promoted, and it kind of fizzled out. So we didn't do it last year. So we said, okay, for 2018, how can we really reimagine this? And that's exactly what we did. We rebranded it, we renamed it. We used to do about 5 or 6 events, and this year, our inaugural year for this iteration, we're going to do over 100 events here in Stamford. So it's just a complete flipping it on its head. We're doing a big tent model. Everyone who submits an event is being included in the calendar in the week. And as far as, make 2 more quick points here because I'm about to run out of time. If you're a student and you're looking to get involved, or if you're at a company, or if you're an executive and you're thinking more speaker panel sort of involvement, we are still taking involvement in Stamford Innovation Week right now. The other thing is, in my agency, and I should have mentioned this earlier, we have hired a lot of interns from UConn, and we have, some of them have gone on to become permanent employees, 100% from the digital media program here at Stamford. It's a program that not only produces great students, but are also really great collaborators with our agency. And I'm very grateful for what they're doing here in Stamford and what they're doing just across that school inside of UConn. All the people that we've hired have been able to sit down at a computer on their first day and start working. I mean, it's absolutely incredible, the job that's happening here. And so our organization, squarewheelgroup.com, hires interns all the time. So fire an email, go on the website, hit a form, get in touch with us.